Welcome back inside the Paramount Fine Food Center here for some Ball Hockey Nationals going on. And right now we got Fatroy out of Quebec, the perfect 3-0 record, taking on the Victoria Tsunami 21s in the men's D division. A much bigger game for the Tsunami 21s, sitting at a record of 1-2, and a victory would essentially punch their ticket to the playoff round. Fatroy is already there, but a win would essentially clinch first place. My standings in front of me right now. The Backdoor Bandits are the only other undefeated team. Their schedule, though, those Bandits, they played earlier today and then tonight at 8:05. So depending on how they did this morning, we could already know who our first place team is in this division. So before we get things going here, we'll toss her down to the floor to start things off with a little bit of Canada, and then we'll drop the ball on this one. Nearly set to drop the ball on this one. Tsunamis are wearing white, heading left to right for Troy, and the darker jerseys heading right to left. To start this one, we are underway. Again, this 21 squad all the way from Victoria, BC, against some much bigger, maybe faster opponents. Definitely a little bit older, that's for sure. Could say that, but this team out of Quebec is not to be messed with. A perfect 3-0 record and some guys that can put the ball in the back of the net, specifically number 94, David Lombardi. He's got 10 goals in 3 games. That is absurd, so we'll keep an eye on him, and we'll make sure you know whenever he has the puck. Villanosi's going to dish it across before it is sent in by that aforementioned David Lombardi. Less goal scoring for the Tsunami's team, but got to find a way to get past Fatroy. Chipped up, but waiting for it was Eden Erskine-Olsen. Shot blocker save as Fatroy is keeping things going on the forecheck. Fatroy works to the far blue line. Near side blue line here with it is Krachkadakis. And chipped in by Argyrodis. Near side, high shot, and knocked down for a whistle here. 13-19 to go in this first period. Face-off will come to the left of the Fatroy goaltender. Finally get that ball dropped, and we are back underway here in this first period. That ball gets behind Xavier Gunnarsson. It's being watched by Josh Rosa. Fed around. Argyrodis in on the forecheck, surveying things, and back away goes Saywell. Tanner Saywell looking for some options. What does he want to do with it? He'll curl it back. One-timer shot, they score! Well, the Tsunamis are on the board first against a very strong opponent, and what a rip off the stick of Cameron Dume. We're off and away in this one, and the Tsunamis with a huge 1-0 lead right now. You start looking at the standings, and you look at a team that you're playing against, and you go, well, we'll probably need a good start. And that's exactly what the Tsunamis have in front of them right now. Quite the shot as well by Cam Dume. Now they're just looking to get out of their zone, and a foot race for it. Backhand pass all the way across and nearly buried one on the far post. Good read by Daniel Farakis. Settled down by Strubakis. Not much doing right now for this Quebec breakout. They'll elect to go off the boards. Chirola will race after it, saying too far. So an icing here with 11:29 remaining in this first period. Lots of game left, but Victoria got to be happy with this start right now. The Tsunamis kicked off their tournament back on Tuesday. 2 games there, and they were outscored 14-3, so not the way you want to do things. And then yesterday, a big 10-3 win over the Rebels out of Saskatchewan. And Fatroy has scored goals, and they've scored a lot. A 9-3 win over the Rebels, 7-0 over the Duncan Stars. And then yesterday as well, a 6-4 win over the Moist Kings out of Ontario. Fatroy now worked across, looking for a drive, goes off a body. That one off the stick of Yannick Pelletier. Intercepted in front of the net there by Hardar Panasar. Petrakupa works it in for Fatroy. That's flicked high and not high enough to get out, so chasing her after it. In the near side corner, Damian Erskine. Stopped inside the blue line is De Chiara. Digging away in those feet is Christian Brazens. Up to the blue line. Away goes Villanosi. And tucked underneath the pad of the Tsunami's goaltender. And that'll give us a whistle Danny London in between the pipes. Got a lot of goalies between the two rosters. The Tsunamis brought Alexander Reed. He wears 29. And Danny London wears 35. Now, Fatroy has 3 goalies on their roster. Whether or not all of them get some playing time in between the pipes is another conversation. But getting the start for them in this one is Jonathan Leopoulos. He wears 72. Thrown up to center, and looks like we're going to be play stopped due to a hand pass. If you ever are interested and been checking out the schedule, the stats, the standings, whatever you want for the Ball Hockey National Tournament, you go on the website into this division, men's D division stats. You have 5 players from this Fatroy team in the top 6 scorers of the tournament. Led by, of course, again, David Lombardi with 12 points. 10 of those are goals. Pretty solid time for him over these last couple days. Final game of round robin play for these two sides. Tsunami's going to work again. Pad stop by Leopoulos. Brunet's gonna circle in behind the net and try and force them out. Nearing in on 6 minutes gone in this first period. Cameron Dumais forcing the issue. Fatroy works out, gets across the blue line, they're in. They can attack. They'll start the cycle down low, have a couple players going towards the net. Good stick check as that ball is launched out, and will be an icing here. 8:47 to go. Again, both these teams have already doubled up when it comes to 2 games on one day, and for Fatroy it was yesterday. Again, outscoring their opponents 13-4 in those 2 games, and the Tsunamis played 2 games all the way back on Tuesday, so have slowed up their schedule pace a little bit. I think that almost, at least that's what I think I'd prefer, is just get your 2 games out of the way. Or maybe you want to go 1 on the first day, 1 on the second day, and then hopefully win those games and then be tired on the third where you're able to give up 2 losses. Who knows, pros and cons to both, but that's how the schedule was divvied up, and this is the only game of the day for both these 2 sides, both with realistic possibilities of advancing to the quarterfinals tomorrow. I mean, Fatroy has already punched their ticket with 3 victories, but the victorious Tsunamis are one of many teams sitting with just 1 victory, 1 or less victories. And it would be huge for them to pick up another one over the top team in their division right now. Long pass all the way off the boards as Rosa runs onto it, gets some support, and Argyrodis, he was tied up for a second out in front, was Rosa. At center now. Quick pass by Petrakipa. Petrakipa gets it right back. Goes rink wide, high shot off the goalie and up into the netting. And this Fatroy team can really whip that ball around. Tape to tape. Tsunami's got to find a way to not only slow them down, but create some offense of their own, which they've done so far. This has certainly been the quickest pace of any of the 3 games that we've seen today on this rink here. The Paramount Fine Food Center here in Mississauga. As our coverage of the CBHA Nationals continues here on HN Live. A lot of ball hockey this week, next week, and the one after that. Player knocked down, and arm was up for icing, but gets waved off. Some good footwork there by Nathan Malley. Holds onto it and running too hard. He steps over the ball. Giuliano De Chiara lost the handle. Good battle in behind the goal as Jordan Lario is after it. At center, long shot, pad save. Through some traffic at that as well as Leopoulos kicked that leg out. Could have just been a positioning save as well, but this Victoria Tsunami's 21s team not messing around. Putting this team from Quebec to the test right now. Still with it now. Slow but steady, they work their way up. Villanosi, far side. Tries to get a shot off. Good pressure there by Victoria to keep that one from getting on target. Long shot from distance, goes wide, poked into the corner. A couple of players race after it. Played in behind the back is Matthew Johnson. Fed across. Chipped in by number 22, Daniel Farakers. Nicholas Nolan feeds it in behind the back. Pantelis watching. And that's too far to the reach of everyone, and gonna be an icing here, 5:42. Passes are quick, but sometimes it takes these players a little bit to actually make a play, but why force it when you don't have to, and make sure you get the pass to where you want it to go. Far corner, Xavier Gunnarsson. Ball worked up. Here's Strubakis. Swiped out by London. Thrown all the way up to center now. Sometimes it's a little confused as to where that ball might be going because these players are able to move it so quickly, and then all of a sudden something opens up and the ball gets there. Moshopoulos carries it in. Moshopoulos trying to work his way in and runs right into Gunnarsson, who holds his ground. 2-on-2 the other way. Ball is flipped up for Jashawn Rye, and a penalty coming up here against Fatroy as they're going to touch up. And it's going to be a body contact call with 4:27 to go. 2 minutes will go up on the board, and the Tsunamis with a chance to double up. Persical Strubakis to the box. Power play time for Victoria. Face off one back by Fatroy. Able to control, and instead of clearing, they'll run it up the floor because they have the space to do so. Argyrodis stays with it. A couple of Victoria players nearly run into each other, and Fatroy's going to carry it back to their own zone. Petrakipa. This power play time is ticking away for Victoria, and there's really not much they can do right now. And finally, they'll force Fatroy to clear it all the way down, as London will put it in a good spot for his defender. Johnson gets it in at the blue line. Work back here once again for Johnson. Back to the blue line, winding up for a fake shot, dished over. Lario has it, whiffs on the shot. 30-plus seconds left in the power play, spinning around, trying to get a shot off, and it's held on to. And a little bit of pushing and shoving after that, but again, patience, 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 and they force one on goal and nearly able to find that, get it in behind Leopolis. But this game stays 1-0. Again, an early marker off the stick of Cameron Dumais. Just 2 minutes and 13 seconds into the game. And we'll try that again. The official didn't like how the ball was dropped. .12:04 gone in this first period. Victoria Tsunamis with a 1-0 lead over Fatroy. That'll be cleared. Again, in the penalty box for body contact is Strubakis, Persical Strubakis. Back to the blue line. Erskine Olsen has it one more time. Holds back to 5-on-5. Launches a shot deflected in front. Just open up the face of that blade and nearly got it into that awning cage. And by awning, I mean about 4 inches by 4 inches in that corner. Played out in front and knocked over was Damian Erskine, who's getting bodied out there. So Fatroy will get some line changes in. Under 2 minutes to go in this opening period. Near boards, trying to hop around is Cedric Brunet. Centering pass, and away goes Fatroy into some skates. Loose puck for a second. They thought about it as Gunnarsson gets knocked over, and it looks like there will be a penalty coming the other way as Christopher Chirola was trying to hop around the defender. And Gunnarsson just got in the way, and enough that it is going to be a penalty with 1:28 to go in this first period. So the rest of this period to work with on the power play for Fatroy. Tried to go back to the blue line, but that's intercepted by Victoria, and a partial break the other way. Shot, and what a save made as Nathan Malley was in all alone shorthanded, and Leopolis able to make a pad save and keep this one a 1-0 game. Victoria liking what they're seeing right now, just kill off some time, and heck of a job being done there by the captain, Jordan Lario. Victoria thought it was offside, and indeed it is. 51.2 to go. Again, over a minute 20 left on the penalty to Gunnarsson. Ball is dropped, we're back underway. And Fatroy will continue on their power play. Worked across the line. The Chiara gives it right back to Cobb, and he'll fire a drive. London made the initial save. Didn't know where the rebound was immediately. But Troy's still working with it. Back inside the blue line, long drive. And that's snatched out of the air with just 18 seconds to go by Danny London. Ball is dropped will continue as it's fired down the floor. Leopolis will leave it for a defender in the form of Chris Chirola. Gets across the line and nearly could have had a partial break. Chirola is going to slowly feed it down low. Not in time for a shot, and that's launched after the whistle, and Victoria is going to take exception to that. At least one player, Jordan Lario, was saying that was well after the buzzer. So over 30 seconds left on the power play for Fatroy, but after the opening 15 minutes of play, it's a 1-0 lead for the Victoria Tsunami 21s. Cam Dume with the lone tally a couple minutes in, but we'll be back in a couple for period number 2. All right, welcome back inside the Paramount Fine Food Center here in Mississauga. So we're going to get things going here for period number 2 between Fatroy and the Victoria Tsunami 21s. So 30 seconds of power play time to work with for Fatroy as Xavier Gunnarsson is in the penalty box for interference. But it's a 1-0 Victoria lead. Cam Dume with quite the shot. Just 2 minutes and 13 seconds into the game, and you walk into this one and look at the records of these two squads and the amount of goals and star players that they have, and you go, man, Fatroy, this could be a stats night for them, or a stats afternoon for them, but it is Victoria with a little bit more to play for, and I think that's showing right now. Fatroy has a number of players with 5+ points. We've only played 2 games in this tournament, and Victoria right now, I don't want to say handing them their lunch, but sticking right with them and have a 1-goal lead. Playing really, really well. Just got to kill off another 20 seconds or so and get things back to 5-on-5, and Fatroy will see if they can capitalize in the final few seconds of this Gunnarsson penalty. Quickly out in front, good sliding block there by Matthew Johnson. And that'll be fired off the boards and all the way down by Johnson. And that'll do it for the penalty to Gunnarsson, and we're back to 5-on-5. Here's Velenosi. Velenosi works it up. Chance here for Fatroy. Fast across shot. That goes just wide. What a look they had out in front. Backhand pass. This line is going to work. Josh Rosa in the corner is pinned up against the boards. Here's Caden Lee going to work. Had a hat trick yesterday. Lee gonna drop it. One-timer drive. Leopolis had no clue where that ball went, nor did I. These players are able to fire the ball so quickly. I only caught it because it was going slowly across my eyesight, across what I could see, because it was caught a deflection. That's going to be out of the reach, so we'll have an icing here with 13:34 to go. A lot of talent out there right now, and this could very well be some sort of playoff round matchup. Again, with 9 teams here in the men's D division, 6 will advance. The top 2 teams have a bye into the semifinals. Both the quarters and semis will be tomorrow, with the bronze and gold medal games going on Saturday. Everyone finishes up round robin play. These 2 teams doing so right now. This is their final game. They've both already played 3. We'll see some games later tonight. It's going to be a late evening. Games going, at least on this rink, as late as 8 o'clock. And just looking across the board here, that is the start time for the final game of the day on all of the rinks. Face-off controlled by Quebec. One of two Quebec teams in this tournament. The Montreal Panthers right now, on the most up-to-date standings that I have, are 1-1. But I believe all the teams that had only played 2 games coming into today played earlier this morning. We're going to see a penalty coming up against Victoria. He's saying, I don't know. Luc Levesque is. Tripping is going to be the call. He even dropped his stick saying, I swear I didn't mean to. That is not enough. So Luc Levesque in the box for tripping, and another penalty, or power play, excuse me, for Fatroy. To the backhand now. Fatroy driving towards the goal. That goes right through the crease off the stick of Villanosi. Danny London having a word with the official, asking for some sort of clarification on why maybe something might not have been called. They're saying there's someone in my crease, but play will continue here. Josh Rosa feeds it down low, worked across, one-timer shot. London gets a cross off the end boards, they score! Making quick work of that power play, excuse me, is for Troy. We got ourselves a 1-1 game at the 12:20 mark of this second period. Well, up until this point, Fatroy had been held in check. I mean, they've scored at least 6 goals in every game, so allowing 1 in the early stages of the second period is, I'd still say, job well done for Victoria, but a lot longer to go. They're going to go to work here. Malley's going to throw it on goal, and held on to on the shot for a whistle here, 11:55 to go. Off the face-off here, controlled by Victoria. Goes off a hand before being carried out. Chris Chirola with the goal here for Fatroy. Again, a power play marker. Worked up to the blue line. Victoria going to work. Ball is worked just inside the blue line here as the cycle attempt by Brune didn't quite get where he wanted it to, as the Tsunamis will get a change going. Fatroy trying to thread the needle on the pass. Intended target was Argyrodis, and too far from him as the Tsunamis get things going the other way. Sent across the blue line by Gunnarsson, able to work that ball in, and it's launched well high into the netting here. 10:40 to go. Second period, all tied up at 1. Again, Fatroy a perfect 3-0 after dispatching their opponents quite easily up until this point. 9-3 over the Rebels back on Tuesday. 7-0 over the Duncan Stars yesterday morning. And then last night, a 6-4 win over the Kings of Ontario. Victoria Tsunamis, on the other hand, an 8-2 loss on Tuesday to the Backdoor Bandits. Followed that up with a 6-1 loss to those same Kings of Ontario. And then yesterday, a big 10-3 win over the Rebels from Saskatchewan. That is why they sit where they do at 1-2. Entertaining one so far. What more could you ask for? It's a tie game as Rosa's going to carry it in. Feeds it across. That shot didn't miss by much. Launched off the stick of Argyrodis. Here's Lee. Lee up to the blue line. Nice tape-to-tape pass there for Saywell. Saywell driving towards the goal. His shot is denied by Leopolis. Carried in. Drop pass. Played into the middle. Strubakis let it slide in between his feet. And that gets launched over to the far glass. Slowly played up the boards. Abandonado. Works it across. Winding up for a shot. It's in between the legs behind him. What a save made right on the goal line. Sliding back for it was Eden Erskine-Olsen, helping out his goalie. That might be the best save of the day so far. London wasn't sure where it was, made the initial save, and had his defender help him out on the goal line. How about that one? That one won't go down on the stat sheet, but shout out to Mr. Erskine-Olsen. And we'll get a quick whistle here. We'll try that one more time. Like I said, arguably the best save of the day. Right off the draw, quick shot, and swallowed up by London. Heck of a drive by Michael Petrakupa. You got the ball right there and you see a lane. Why not let her fly? DeChiara goes across. Some quick passing here by this Fatroy team. Chasing after it in the corner, Antonios Zafiropoulos. And we got a penalty coming up here against Fatroy as soon as they touch up. And London says, I don't know if I want to make the trek all the way there just for them to touch up. But now he's going to commit to it as Victoria's going to hold on. They see what's going on, so they'll be patient with this. Delayed penalty against Fatroy. Don't want to force a shot all the way from the blue line. Out in front, backhand shot goes wide. Another drive from a sharp angle. And a save made, a couple of them by Leopolis. 8:29 to go. Penalty coming up here against the team from Quebec. Interference coming against Zafiropoulos. Antonios Zafiropoulos to the penalty box for interference, and the Tsunamis with a chance to retake the lead. So lots of time and space here. Johnson works it up to the blue line. A man takes a spill, and they'll have to chase that down and work after it. Milanosi was faking a race after that to make Victoria get to that ball. Johnson trying to force it across that blue line. No good. He'll elect to just chip it out, and everyone chase after it. Lee's swiping at it. He's parked out in front. Short pass, far side. Worked out to the far dot. Far circle, slot. Lee has it. Wasn't the greatest pass to him, so not his fault on that one as it's cleared down by Fatroy with 7.25 to go in the second period and still over 40 seconds to go on this Victoria power play. Again, Zafiropoulos in the box for interference. Here's Brunet. Brunet holding. Half wall far side. Back into the middle now for Johnson. Johnson, quick pass, a quick shot. And a good save. Caden Lee with the rip. And Leopoulos able to swallow that up. Erskine Olsen, far side one-timer chance. Drive by Dume was on the target quickly. Erskine Olsen going back and forth with Dume. He'll elect to shoot. Fires it around. We're back to 5-on-5 as Zafiropoulos is out of the box. Forced pass across. Didn't get all the way. That'll hop over a stick and clear center. That goes off the wall. Arm is up and will be an icing here. 6:02 to go, second period. Again, you talk about the offense from this Fatroy club. Guys like David Lombardi, Josh Rosa, Konstantinos Frajkadakis, Alexandros Argyrotis. And you say, how can this team lose a game? They're not losing right now, but certainly a good opportunity for Victoria to capture their second win of the tournament if they can keep doing what they're doing and hold that Fatroy offense at bay. A timeout being taken right now by the Quebec team after that icing call, so give a bit of a breather for the fellas out there. Again, final game of round robin for both of these squads. 9 teams in the men's D division. 6 will advance. The top 2 get a bye right to the semifinals, and that's what this Fatroy team is playing for right now. They can guarantee a semifinal spot if they win today. These Tsunamis are playing just to make it to that playoff round, let alone semifinal spot. I think right now that would essentially be, well, it is out of the question. Fatroy shot scores! Flying down the right side and buries it inside the post. Chris Chirola. What a shot. His second of the game. Definitely nicer than the first, but both of them in the second period has given this Quebec side a 2-1 lead. Tsunami's going back to work here. Have it in behind the net now. Pass out in front, and that sails through everyone. The official saying, no, I didn't touch it, so icing is waved off. Abandonado was waving his finger at the official saying, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Official saying, yes, you did. Worked along the line, Lombardi. Tried to feed that towards the net. Nothing doing that time. Brunet works it across and launched in there, bouncing puck by Brasens. Knocked down by Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson in across the line. Here's Lario with it. Far corner he goes. Slap shot taken. Wide off the stick of Nathan Malley. Four minutes to go in the second period. Been a great game so far. Nolan tried to force that one into the corner. Didn't get it where he wanted it to. Strabakis will leave it for DeChiara. Strabakis with a stick lift. Is all sorts of tied up with Malley now. And Malley goes down in the corner, quickly back to his feet. Took that one off the left leg. Bouncing ball is settled down. Faking one way is Villanosi. Here's DeChiara. Both teams making some changes, hence the brief slowdown right now as DeChiara dumps it in, heads off on a change. Under 3 minutes to go in the second period. Drilling like stuff with you here on hnlive.ca. Arm is up for icing and not gonna have one called here. The officials are certainly letting this play out here. This game turns so quickly. Sometimes we have moments like this where the ball just doesn't seem to be moving anywhere, and then all of a sudden we are off and running, chances galore. Big shots, loud rebounds, opportunities for both sides. Rosa into the corner, pinned up against the boards by his man. Into the final 2 minutes of the second period. Puck is sent up the floor by Fatroy. Drop pass, and a shot goes off a stick and into the netting. And Chris Chirola is hunting that third goal. He wanted it there, had a spot, launched it, but a defender's stick got in the way. We'll have to try again. He'll get another opportunity, that's for sure. One of the hottest sticks on this Quebec team right now. Off the draw, Peltier in the corner, worked out in front and nearly batted out of the air. Strabakis into the corner now. Moshopoulos didn't get it where he wanted it to go and carried away by Panisar. Into the feet of Gunnarsson. He's gonna let that one go. Save made by Leopoulos. Peltier. Got to be quick with this for the Tsunamis. Reached at and poked away for enough by Hardarj Panesar. Here's Erskine Olsen. Again, he has one of the best saves of the day so far. Helped out his goalie when it was trickling through the legs and slid to swipe it off that goal line. Lombardi now. Gonna leave it for some help in the form of Strubakis. Strubakis with a drive. Into the final 25 seconds of the second period. Worked up now. Erskine. Gets it across the blue. Tries to drop it for Gunnarsson, who changed his mind. And a chance here for Fatroy. Saucer pass it in the middle and just underneath the stick of Villanosi. And that'll do it for 30 minutes of play. 2-1 lead for Fatroy. Both second period goals off the stick of Chris Chirola. They're up by 1. Victoria Tsunami's going to need a response here in the final 15. We'll be back in a couple of minutes for third period action here on HN Live. And here we go for the third period between Fatroy and the Victoria Tsunami 21s. Been a great game so far. The Tsunami 21s opened up the scoring there in that first period by Cam Dume, just 2 minutes and 13 seconds in to give them a 1-0 lead, and you thought they were going to carry that momentum throughout the game, which they have. They just were unable to capitalize on some opportunities that they had. But on the other side, it was Chris Chirola with 2 second period goals. And that's where we stand. 2-1 in favor of Fatroy. It's away they go, shot, they score. 5-hole tally for the Quebec side, and it is 3-1 just 35 seconds in to this third period. Bit of a backbreaker, if you will, for Victoria, but a huge marker for this Quebec team to keep the offense rolling as they have been all tournament long. David Lombardi's 11th of the tournament. It was about time that he got things going in this game. Feels almost offensive to say get things going to anyone that has double-digit goals in only a couple games, but they held him in check for as long as they could. And now this Tsunami 21 side is really on their heels, facing quite the uphill battle. Chirola with an assist on the goal as well, so he's got 3 points. He's factored in on all 3 goals. Victoria got to force him out from behind that cage. Can't just sit there and let the clock tick by as Tanner Saywell does just that. Work to the side of the net, a chip shot there. Goes off a body, or off the goaltender, London, and up and away. Must have went straight out of play as the faceoff comes just outside this blue line here. Strubakis backpedaling. Puts off a body. Abandonato being watched by Erskine. Played up the wall. Losing his stick there was Brune, and away goes Fatroy again. Pass fired across by Zafiropoulos. Strubakis with a one-timer rip. Sails high and over everyone. And into the glass, and that one is launched down and will be an icing here against Victoria with 12:39 to go in this third period. Offense is stalled out at this point, it seems like, and needed to do the damage back in that first period when they had things really rolling in their favor, it seemed like, off the jump there. But this Quebec team is, well, playing a game that I'm sure they played in their opening couple of games that put them in a spot to really just coast through this one, which obviously they're not doing by any means, but chance, rebound, shot, scores. Another one for this Quebec side. And how about another? Chris Chirola. He is rolling right now. It's a hat trick goal and a 4-1 lead for Fatroy. That's taken all the wind out of the sails of this Tsunami team, as they're going to take a timeout and gather themselves a couple of quick ones in this third period. Those within a 2-minute span, David Lombardi and then Chris Chirola has Fatroy up 4-1 on their way to a perfect round robin record. Don't get me wrong, this Victoria team is very solid. From what I've seen here in this game, I find it quite surprising that they have hold this 1-2 record. They're steady, but just got to create some more offense. They had only scored 3 goals before playing their third game, where they exploded for 10, but we got to see some of that right now from this side. Otherwise, this could be their last game of the tournament. Worked up the wall. A little bit of hop in the step of this Victoria team. Maybe a chance here. See what they can do with it. Trying to cross lanes and confuse people out from behind the net, and holy smokes, that would have been something. Arm was up because they thought they buried it. Trying to get creative with it, and at this point, why not try anything? If it works, it works, and if it doesn't, go back to your simple game. That would have been the craftiest goal I think you could have seen all tournament. Tried to flip it from in behind the net and then bat it down in that slot area, but nothing doing on that opportunity. Clearing pass is blocked. Top of the circle's chance here. Tried to go back door, and a sliding block there by the Fatroy defender, and all alone the other way. Here's Lombardi, backhand drive, and runs right over Danny London. And we'll get a whistle here with 11:10 to go. But Lombardi not slowing down and having a word with the official, saying, what can I do there? So we'll see if there is a penalty called, or if there already has been a penalty called. I can imagine there has been, otherwise he wouldn't be talking the way he is. Trying to plead his case as London is taking his time in between the pipes, but Lombardi will head to the box. Going to be goalie interference on the play. So Fatroy's best goal scorer in the box at a time where they don't necessarily need to score, but need to keep it out of their own net. So 2-minute minor up on the clock. And power play time for Victoria. Gotta have one here. Gotta have one here. Ball is dropped back underway here. We'll see if they can create some sort of offense. Lombardi on a breakaway. Can't not only can't bury it, but is charged with a penalty. Victoria. And we're gonna get a whistle as the net is off. It is indeed off in behind Leopolis. So face-off will come to his left. It's not like the Tsunamis were really had anything going there at that moment in time. So we'll take the whistle, regroup, but now you lose possession off the face-off, or have to win it back, I suppose, I should say. No one really has possession right now, but that's bad news for Victoria and good for Troy. Finally a loose ball, but running onto it is Villanosi. He'll just roll it down and head off. Get some fresh legs out there on the penalty kill. It's into the zone. Erskine gets, excuse me, that was Brunet. He took a hard bump into the boards. And that is launched all the way down. Here's Johnson, throws it out in front. And another whistle here. In behind the plane, it's gonna be another penalty against Fatroy. It's going to be roughing as Marshopoulos heads to the box. So 5-on-3 here for 30 seconds for Victoria. Gotta have a couple. Hearing the coaching staff from Victoria yelling at players to get in front of the net, get in front of his eyes of Jonathan Leopolis. You're not going to do anything right now as we're back to 5-on-4 as Lombardi's back onto the floor after serving his 2 minutes for goalie interference. A low shot goes wide and easily cleared by Fatroy. 1.25 left on the most recent penalty to Marshopoulos for roughing, and it seems like that's flying by. Loose ball in the slot, worked across. No lane to shoot, so it's held on to. A drive goes wide off the end boards. Back to the blue line it goes. Worked across by Dumais. Dumais has the only goal for Victoria right now. Dumais, near side for Erskine. Erskine tries to force it across, nothing doing there. Blocks the initial clearing attempt, but this one will get out. And jumped around is Rosa, who's got an opportunity. Rosa gonna just kill off some time in the corner. Now he'll curl back with 15 seconds left on the penalty to Marshopoulos. Dumped in by Erskine. Sherbach is gonna just hold on to it, kill it off. We're back to 5-on-5 and a 2-on-1 the other way for Fatroy. Fed across, held on to, back the other way and unable to tap it in. Backdoor was Rosa. Out front, forehand drive. Hits the end boards, back out into the slot area. And Victoria will at least clear it and force Fatroy to get out of that zone. But the ever so dangerous David Lombardi back out on the floor in the near circle. And we're inching closer to just 7 minutes left in this one. And the Tsunami deficit is getting larger and larger as the time ticks by. Down 4-1 here. The clock will stop with 6:57 to go. Possession here. 5 for Troy. Belinosi waits for some support and drops it over for Frachkadakis, and jumping back to hold on to it here now. Alexander Reed holding on to that one, and of course, London took that hard bump on that Lombardi drive. Unable to stay in this game, so Reed has been in between the pipes for a couple of minutes now. In a tough position, having to close this game out cold, and essentially can't let anything by you to even give your team a chance here. Got to be perfect the rest of the way. Right into the middle, and Reed with a big stop there as Fatroy was able to intercept that ball and get it right back in quickly. Fatroy trying to draw something up off this face-off, see what they can do. Lombardi directing traffic. Face-off to the right of Reed. And Victoria might have something here. They unable to get to that ball first. Had 2 players in the vicinity, but lose the race. All systems go right now for Victoria. They might have something going down the far side. Lario with a shot. Slides him to the end boards. Back to his feet now, battling for it. Here's Malley, works it back for Erskine Olsen. Here's Johnson. Johnson with a rip. High into a body and held on to for a whistle. Right off the draw, Johnson with the drive. Excellent blocker save by Leopolis. Looks like Fatroy might have a chance in transition there. Caden Lee parked at the Fatroy blue line. Gonna have it sent his way. Chips it in. Let's Saywell run after it, run onto it, played out in front and sliding. It's gonna be a penalty coming up against Fatroy. As Caden Lee was heading towards the net. Tripping is going to be the call. And you're 0 for on the power play so far, so you better find something. Petrakipa to the penalty box for 2 or less. Off and running on this Victoria power play. At least close the gap. Again, you just want to chip away. Slow it up in front. Sharp angle shot goes to the far boards. Backhand shot in low, digging away and held onto for a whistle. That puck was not, ball was not getting loose as Leopolis had it right in between the pads. That is, those pads closed pretty tightly with exactly 5 to go in this third period. Two goals in this third period for Fatroy to extend their lead. 4 unanswered at this point right now for the Quebec side as well. Launched around the glass, held at the blue line, but took an awful bounce for Victoria and sent down by Moshopoulos. And we got a good battle going on in below the goal, or behind the net, excuse me. as Caden Lee was divvying it up with a Fatroy defender. And hearing his frustration expressed as he gets to the bench. They were well in behind the play. That ball, was all the way in the Victoria end, and Caden Lee was tied up with a Quebec defender in behind the Quebec net. Right off the draw, here's Dumais. Dumais with a quick shot, loose ball, chance here, shot, they score! They're able to get one back. It's courtesy of the captain. It's going to be a power play goal. Jordan Lario has made it a 2-goal game. A little bit of something, whatever you want to call it. That's a 2-goal game and 4:16 to go. And that is a lot of time to work with, especially if at any chance you get sustained offensive zone pressure, and maybe Alexander Reed can head to the bench for that extra attacker. So Lario with the most recent tally, and that snaps the streak of 4 straight goals for Fatroy. Under 4 minutes to go, 4-2 score in favor of Fatroy. Malley gonna head in and force Fatroy to come out from behind their own net. Again, their goal right now is to just kill off some time. Deflected up by Chirola. Chirola has a hat trick in this one. Fed all the way across, lots of room far side. Quick shot, and that finds its way in behind the net. Villanosi, fresh off the bench. Oh, what a nice move to bank it off the boards and get around a defender. Staying with it is Lario. Lario to his knees, tries to play it back to the blue line, but now loses handle. But good attempt by him to work that ball all the way in. Under 3 to go now. Fatroy with the 4-2 lead. They scored 9 in their first game, 7 in their second, and then 6 against the Kings yesterday. So right now, lowest amount of goals they've scored in a game. But I don't know if giving up just 4 is going to be enough for Victoria right now. Got to find a way to win this game or get at least a point. At least a point. Here's Lombardi. Girotis. Or closer towards the net by Strubakis. And an errant pass goes in favor of Victoria right now. Under 2 to go. This time just keeps dwindling down on the Tsunami team. Lee back out there. He'll curl off, head to the bench. 1:30 to go in this third period, and Fatroy just toying with it in their own zone. Now they'll streak up Strubakis. Plays it into the middle, hard collision. Play will continue. Oh, no, there is an arm up, so a penalty coming against Victoria with 1:15 to go. Looked at one official, didn't see an arm. Had to find the other, and indeed the arm was up. So a penalty against Victoria, and that'll likely do it for their chances. Nicholas Nolan to the penalty box for tripping. Creeping in here is Rosa. We'll leave it. Pass comes back the other way and up into the netting on a quick tic-tac-toe chance. I don't think it got a piece of Reed. That might have went straight out. And official saying it did indeed get a piece of the goaltender. Not putting up much of a challenge himself, so faceoff stays inside the Victoria zone with 1:02 to go. Now into the final minute. Victoria shorthanded for the rest of this game unless they're able to score, but Reed being called towards the bench for the extra attacker, so a 5-on-5. Nearly got caught with too many on the ice there. Forgot they were shorthanded, but maybe get a chance going here. Work back across, and at this point, you got to just shoot that ball. Too many passes is not balls on net, and that'll do it as the leading goal scorer for this division is going to ice this one and bury another as he emphatically jumps into the end glass to make it a 5-2 game. So Lombardi with his second of the game on an empty net. With just 20 seconds to go. The final 10 seconds will dwindle down here. Ball at center now, carried back, and that'll take the final seconds down on what will be a 5-2 victory in favor of Fatroy, and they will complete a perfect 4-0 round-robin record, and will drop the Victoria Tsunami 21s to 1-3. And likely take them out of contention for playoff ball hockey tomorrow. Have to watch those scoreboards. Could already be decided based on how this morning's games went. But based on the information I have right now, can only assume that what is a final game and appearance here for this Victoria team. So we'll stick here for our players of the game. Can make an assumption, probably going to be Chris Chirola, who had a hat trick for Fatroy, and TBD for Victoria. So it is indeed Chris Chirola with a hat trick. 3 goals for him, completed that in the third period. Xavier Gunnarsson, the player of the game for the Victoria Tsunami 21s. He had the opening, did not have the opening goal. That was indeed Cam Davis, but a good game by Gunnarsson as well. Quite active on the back end. And did a very good job in stopping this potent Fatroy offense for the first half of the game or so. But at the end of the day, it wasn't enough, and a 5-2 final here for the Quebec side. Again, 4-0 through round-robin play. The Victoria Tsunami 21s are 1-3. On behalf of Dave Bradshaw and the rest of the HN Live crew, I'm Troy Langstaff saying thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you the rest of the weekend as ball hockey coverage continues here on HN Live.